In today's video, we are reviewing the most adorable car to ever make its appearance on Drivers Only. We have the 2024 Fiat 500e inspired by beauty, and that's why it's pink. Fiat actually left the United States in 2019, but it's back in 2024 with 4 different models, and this is one of them. So let's dive into this and see if this EV is what you should be picking up for your next car purchase. All right, starting in the front of this cute little Fiat, you got a lot going on. Right off in the center here, you do have a large 500, and it's got the silver lines running across to give it a little bit of contrast. You do have some working ventilation below that on the lip, so that's nice to see. And then over on the sides, you've got kind of like these eye looking like headlights. I kind of like them, if I'm being honest, but nonetheless, you've got a single LED headlight, and then you've got your diffusers, which are also your turn signals, and then another light below. Not a whole lot to talk about. It looks like a face, and it's really excited about this video, that's for sure. Coming around to the side, you've got a wing. This doesn't actually do anything. It's just kind of there, but it's a wing nonetheless. It's got the Italian flag in it. That's pretty cool. Takes me back to my heritage. But moving down a little bit lower here, we do have 17-inch wheels on this sub 3,000 pound vehicle. I must say though, I actually do like the wheels. You got the 500 on the hubcap here. That's not securely placed, and also the silver with the piano black and everything. Overall, I actually really like the wheels. It might be my favorite part about this car. Moving along to the side view mirrors, you have no camera on it, but they are painted to match the car, so everything's inspired by beauty here, and it is beautiful. Moving on a little bit back further, not traditional style door handles. Maybe you'll like them, maybe you won't, but it's kind of just got a button in there that you push and it lets you in. On the driver's side though, it does have a button on this location here that actually locks the car when you exit it. So that's cool. And then here we got another La Prima 500 badge. Very cool. And then we've got our charging port. So that's nice. It's very large, lots of juice, all the power. Moving along to the back, surprisingly enough, we do actually have a spoiler on this little Fiat 500, so that's cool. Adds a little bit of style to it. And then of course you got a large Fiat badge, a large 500 badge, and the 500, surprisingly enough, it actually has some blue in it. But the tail lights look like your typical tail lights, Fiat tail lights anyways, so those are nice. You do also have a rear view camera, of course. Going on to the inside, not a lot of trunk space in the back, but it is big enough for at least one large suitcase or a small short trip to the grocery store. No automatic closing though. And that about wraps up the exterior of this little guy. And then like I was mentioning, on the passenger side, here's that button that we can lock the car with. So if you don't want to mess with your keys or whatever, because this is push to start, you just hit that button, keep your keys in your pocket. But on the inside, you do have some decent contrast. Luckily, it's not pink everywhere, but you'll notice some changes versus what we're typically used to. But you've got the white or cream padding here, and then all of this is just hard plastic. But to exit the vehicle, you actually have to press this button, and it's really awkward, because you would grab it like that, right? But I guess that works. But below that, you do have your 2 window switches, and they both are one-touch operation. And then you've also got your side view mirror controls on this little dial here. Overall, that works. And then, of course, your manual operation for your door. Now, I've got to say, at least they do have a door sill panel there, so that looks nice, a little chrome going on. Now the seats are actually fully manual, no power seats in this, but you do have very nice seats nonetheless. I actually love the stylization of the seats. They say Fiat all over the place in them, and they're contrasted. So you got black leather, white leather. Overall looks really good, especially with the 500 embossed right there. But let's hop in and see how she is. All right, in the interior of the Fiat 500, starting with the steering wheel, very typical, like you would expect. You got a little toot there. It's a lot more, it's got a lot more power behind it than say the car itself. But on the left hand side, you've got your multimedia controls. On the right hand side, you got your driver's assistance button. So this does have adaptive cruise control, lane keep, and things like that. Moving on behind that, you do have your turn signal indicator, as well as your lights, which do have auto, so that's great. On the right hand side, you also have your windshield washing controls, which also do have rain sensing. So if you put it on auto, that's always pretty handy. Love that feature. But like I mentioned, everything is manual, so you do have telescoping and up and down on your steering wheel, so that's great. But to the left hand side of it, you do also have parking indicators on this, your traction control, and then lights and your brightness of your screens here. So that's great. Now, my actual favorite part of the car, and of course this is subjective, but would be the dash. The dash actually looks really good overall. I like the knitted style going on here, and then it's got the piano black trim going around it. Overall, it looks pretty solid. All right, to the right of the steering wheel though, we do have some features going on. In the center here, we do have a wireless charging pad for your phone, and it even tells you when you forget your phone in there, so that's pretty cool. A Type A USB port, and then here's your gear selectors. You've got park, reverse, neutral, and drive. Okay, above that, you've got physical buttons for your heating and air controls, so that's great. Above the heating and air controls and your hazard button though, you do have a 10.3-inch display. It's a little bit deceiving because of course it goes diagonally and it's very long. So it's actually quite small, and if you connect to CarPlay, it's even smaller because it fits within this area right here, and you still have the borderings on it. So overall, it's okay. Now with your infotainment center, you do have the latest Uconnect software on it, so that's fantastic. It is pretty responsive, but there's not a whole lot you can do in here. You can go in and see the status of your vehicle, how much power your batteries are putting out, and everything like that. Now, in the European version, there are actually 2 different batteries that can be in it. However, this one in the US only has the larger pack, which is about 149 miles of range, but we'll talk about that more later. Moving on, above your infotainment screen, you just have a standard rear view mirror, nothing special going on there, no home link or anything like that. Your SOS button, your assist button, and your dome light controls, off, on, door. Also for your digital gauge cluster, it is a 7-inch digital gauge cluster, and using these buttons over here, you can actually cycle through different information. So that's great. I like that you can, you know, get all the information you need right in front of your face with the touch of a button. Now, one other thing that is a little bit odd in this Fiat 500, because it's going to be really interesting to load up and everything, it's got a very weird glove compartment. But nonetheless, it's actually got a lot of storage space in there, so that's not too bad. Now, into the center here where we do all of our business, you do have your electronic parking brake, and then you have your mode selector. In this 500e, you have Sherpa, normal, and range. Now, Sherpa acts as like your one-pedal driving. Normal is normal. It drives kind of like a normal car. When you let off the gas or the accelerator, it continues just to kind of go. And then range, of course, is like your eco mode. To the right of that, though, you've got your volume selector. You can push it to mute. Now, moving down past that, you do get a Type A port, a Type C port, and a 12-volt port in your cigarette jack style, and some storage space here. It's not really for like drinks or anything because there's nothing to hold it in. One thing you'll notice we didn't talk about at all in the front of this car is a cup holder. There's no cup holders. Like, so if you go to McDonald's, you're putting it between your legs because there's no cup holders. But you do have a nice adjustable armrest here, so that's cool, with a very narrow and deep storage compartment. Now, what do you say we shove Uncle Steve in the back and see how he likes it? So like we always do, we're gonna shove Uncle Steve in the back. Look at, he towers over the car like 4 feet.
Are you serious?
I'm very
This car
serious.
is so small.
We gotta see if it's practical, Steve.
For what?
For you and your friends. So you do have a little handle at the top of the seat here that allows you to pull it forward nice and easy. What's not easy though is Uncle Steve's path to the back.
You better don't push the chair all the way back.
We're gonna break his legs. How you doing back there?
Fucking tight.
It's pretty tight.
There's some headroom, that's about it. And
Would
no
you-
charger, nothing here.
No
cup
charger,
holder.
nothing? Hey, you get a
Oh,
cup holder though?
right there. One cup holder.
Oh man, that's amazing. Well,
It's enough to fit Yeti to it.
yeah. Well, that's good. At
That's
least
it.
at least back passenger gets a cup holder.
And all I have is this little window.
Needless to say, the back is not quite fit for adults. Don't mind our junk, but you can't really fit a child seat back here. You can't really fit an adult, but they do get a cup holder. There's no power in the rear. The windows don't go down, and that's all about that's going down in the rear. All right, now we're behind the wheel of this 2024 Fiat 500e, inspired by beauty. I mean, you know, they say looks are subjective, but I kind of like the pink. I've always liked pink. I don't know if I would actually own a pink car, but you know, it's kind of unique. And actually, technically, it's not supposed to be pink. I think it looks pink, but it's actually rose gold. But nonetheless, for driving feel, right off the bat, the first thing that I notice as I've been driving this around town is the steering is incredibly loose. There is no weight behind it whatsoever. And when I was reading the manual, it's actually supposed to be adjustable. However, you can't find it anywhere. So I don't know, maybe it's coming in a future update. Maybe whoever made the manual just kind of threw that in there. But nonetheless, you cannot change it, and it's incredibly light. But outside of that, you do get a good amount of motor whine from the electric motor, but it's not like unbearable or anything like that. At higher speeds, maybe it's worse. No, it stays about the same. You do get around 60 miles per hour, a good bit of wind noise, actually a substantial amount of wind noise, but I guess that's not the end of the world. In terms of drive feel, you feel every single bump you go over. I don't know, it's like it's dampened too much, maybe, but nonetheless, that's what it is. I feel everything we go over. The steering wheel itself does have a nice feel to it. You know, it's got kind of a sporty steering wheel, so I do like the steering wheel feel. I just don't like the turning feel. They really need to get some weight behind it. Surprisingly though, in this 500e, the acceleration is actually pretty good. So like if you're trying to dart out of traffic so you can pass somebody or something like that, you'll actually have the ability to. Out of a lot of the EVs that we've tested, a lot of them don't have that, but this has that instant torque that you're able to get, and you know, it actually accelerates pretty quickly. Now, nothing like show-stopping or mind-blowing or anything like that, but better than what we expected for sure. And last but not least, before we have Uncle Steve hop in the driver's seat, visibility. You know, the visibility, actually, it's pretty good. But I mean, this is a small car with big windows. The front windshield is heavily raked, but it doesn't make much of a difference in this small of a car. Both the passenger and driver windows are actually ginormous, so you see tons out of those. Now, when it gets to your back, like quarter windows, those are pretty small, and the headrest is in the way, so you can't really see out of those. But again, the rear window is also pretty large, so you can see out that pretty well. Overall, I think the visibility is pretty good. And the side view mirrors are, for this size of car, are also pretty large, so you get good visibility with those as well. Not too bad. But on that note, what I really want to know about is the powertrain. So we've got to go to Uncle Steve to get all the facts on that. So let's get him in the driver's seat and see what he has to say about the powertrain and how he likes the ride.
Well, now is Uncle Steve behind the wheel. But before I talk about the drivetrain, I want to let you guys listen to this. So when I start a car, press the button.
It's like Christmas every day you go driving.
How cute is it?
It's adorable. This whole car is just adorable. But you know what? Now that you just did that, it brings me to a good point that I forgot to bring up. I cannot understand, and I do not like it whatsoever, that you have to hit the start button twice to turn this car on.
It's pretty annoying.
It doesn't make sense. Just, I want to start the car. Let me hit the button once and let's go.
So what about turn it off? You have to hit 3 times?
No, just once, luckily.
Okay, let's drive then. So the powertrain for this 500e is just one electric motor. That motor in the front, that make it front wheel drive. And it produces 117 horsepower and 162 foot-pound of torque. 0 to 60 in 8.5 seconds. With me and Josh, I think it's like 9 seconds.
Probably 10.
The range for this car is kind of a little bit low compared to other EV vehicles. On paper, they say it's 162 miles per fully charge, but I think it's around 140. It depends how you drive it. So on paper, it say it can charge up to 40 miles in 5 minutes. I think that is BS.
Yeah, from real world tests I was hearing about and reading about, they got like 30 miles in 20 minutes.
Damn.
So, they might need to
40, it was on their website, I believe.
Yeah, they might need to check their numbers.
40 miles in 5 minutes actually is good. But you know how EV battery works, right? When they charge to 18% and they was really slow charging. If you really 5 minutes, that's great, you know, in 40 miles. So you go like, you drive 30 miles, you put it in 5 minutes and then you have another 30 miles and you keep doing that.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's not bad. You don't have to wait like 20 minutes to fully charge it. Plus, this is a small battery, so it could be a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And the top speed for this car is, it can only go to up to 96 miles per hour. Yes, it is about the speed limit for most highway, actually for all highway in the US. But 96 is top, so it's still kind of like slow, I think.
Yeah, and it'll be 1 hour later. It'll take you forever to get to 96.
One good thing I want to mention is the warranty. Actually, it's not bad. Special, this Fiat 500 is named for very bad reliable. So they offer 5-year, 50,000 miles powertrain warranty and 8 years, 100,000 miles for all electrical parts.
Dang, that's actually not too bad, Steve.
Not
Do you
too
know
bad.
about Mini Cooper's warranty?
No, it's BMW. I believe it's pretty shitty.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So you get 3 years or 35,000 miles
Damn.
for full coverage. So at least they're competitive there. They're competitive in the warranty.
Yeah, it's a big thing for Fiat, you know? I mean, we just stick to the fact. They, on internet, it's all over the place, Fiat 500 is not reliable at all. I don't know, special, I believe it's because they merged with Chrysler.
Yeah, now it's a Stellantis vehicle.
Yeah, so 5 years for powertrain and then 8 years for all the electrical parts, it's not bad.
No, not bad. Can't complain about that.
Well, let's talk about the pricing. You know, this is probably the second or the third cheapest EV on the market. Is it right?
Yeah, I think it's more like third. This one comes in, you can get the Fiat 500e inspired by beauty for $38,000.
That is kind of a lot.
That is kind of a lot. If you look at the range, the size, the features, and everything like that, you can go get a Tesla Model 3 for $30,000, so $8,000 less, and you get a plethora of features and much more size.
Yeah.
And about 2 to 3 times the range.
Damn. You know, the cheapest EV on the market in the US is the Nissan Leaf. It's starting $28,500 and have a little bit more range and it's much faster than this. And of course, bigger.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the drive. In my opinion, the seat is a little bit too small. My butt cheek is actually, if you like, cramped by the chair on the both sides or by the seat. Besides that, it's pretty firm, it's pretty comfortable. Steering wheel is great. It's oversized, I think, for this car. It's just huge. It looks more like classics, you know, those classic cars with a big steering wheel. The drive itself is not too bad. The acceleration actually have that instant torque that Josh was talking about. But it will slow down after you kick in and then just slow down.
Yeah, like once you hit like 40, 50,
Yeah.
it like drops off a cliff.
And then for the space, it's damn small.
Yeah, we feel like best friends right now, Ace.
Yeah, it was so close. There's no way you put Chelsea in the back. You maybe sit a toddler in the back, and that's it. Besides that, everything is okay, you know. I mean, it's a Fiat. What do you expect?
I have to agree.
I do like the design, you know. I always like the Italian design. And one thing I really noticed, they always put like the Italian flag on the vehicle. It doesn't matter if it's a Ferrari or motorcycle, Ducati, they always have Italian flag. Imagine Chinese car put a China flag. I wouldn't want to drive it.
Hey, they're proud. They're proud.
Are you talking about Chinese or talking about Italian?
No, Italians. This car has 2 Italian flags on it. They're great for European driving. I don't know how well they're, like, unless you live in like New York or something like that, I don't really know how suited it is, because, you know, we get high-speed crashes and things like that, you know, and our roads are much bigger, we have much more space. I'm just not sure how suited this is for America, really.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Especially they have low profile tire. I feel like you said, feel every single bump. For sure, it's not for Chicago.
Yeah. No, you'll be getting a blowout every other day.
It's time for Uncle Steve's story time, but this time I'm not gonna ask Josh anything, and we just talk about it.
Okay.
So, do you know Fiat have a performance model?
Do they in 2024?
No, I don't know. It's 2012. They started back then, like long time ago. They first introduced like back in 60.
Oh, okay.
But in 2012 they have a performance model is called Alba Edition. They come with only manual. They 140 horsepower, 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, and it's pretty cool. I was gonna buy one, but just because of fear, the reliability thing, then I just don't want to do it anymore. But if you can pick it up now for like 10 grand,
Yeah, that's
and for this little bit more fun, but that's not it. In Europe, they have a Ferrari edition. You know, that's crazy. MSRP was 50 grand.
Jeez.
It's about 0 to 60 about 7 seconds.
So it's not even...
But I'm telling you, man, you can Google, you can check out the YouTube or whatever video. The sounds is amazing.
Yeah.
The engine exhaust note it's like a high performance vehicle. That's the only thing I love about that car. Anything else is just...
Yeah. In conclusion, what do we think of the Fiat 500e inspired by beauty? Well, you know, it's an adorable little car. The design is cool, it's unique, it's interesting, it looks good, arguably, but outside of that, for the price point, I think that we both agree that there's much better options in the market.
And also for reliability too, you know.
Yeah, and reliability, you know, so... Who is this car made for? I think it's made for a single person that wants something they can drive in town, that charges fast. All they've really got to go do is maybe go to work and go to the grocery store. They're not picking up friends and family and all this other stuff, you know, so yeah, that's probably who should buy this car.
So you're saying for lonely people?
Yeah, lonely people. Overall, though, it is a cute little car. It's very adorable. I don't mind the pink. I think it's cute. It's adorable. But yeah, let us know what you think about it in the comments below. Smash up the likes, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you for the next video.